Hello, I'm Chris Schenkel. Nice to be back in Florida, especially when the sun is shining like it is today. And the sun shone on 5 bowlers of a tremendous bowling field here at the Cougar Open, and you'll be seeing them compete. And adding his expert commentary to their skills, my colleague who has a sunburn today, Billy Welu. Billy?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. It really has been beautiful weather here this week and really have enjoyed the sun. But on the inside here at the Coliseum Lanes, the story has been this week pretty much a left-handed dominance again, as they are in the numbers 1, 2, and 3 places. However, we have 2 very fine bowlers that are going to try to go from the right-handed side to end that dominance here this afternoon. We'd like to show you they're going to play a basic angle down this right-handed side from the 2nd arrow, or the 10th board, over to the 15th board. They will be trying to execute a shot somewhere in this playing area and keep it pretty tight, finishing in that 1-3 pocket. It's been pretty tricky in there all week, so the boys have really performed admirably from that right-handed side to make it. Over on the left-handed side, where they've really been striking, you will see this kind of action. Going down this side, some may even go in that little gutter area there, but more than this, you're going to see a real sharp breaking hook in that back end. Watch for that, and it's going to be exciting to see whether those right-handers can end that left-handed dominance, Chris.
Say, Billy, you've become quite an artist.
Well, I was trying to show you where that ball might drop in the gutter, and we could see one of those.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, and Billy, let's meet the 5 leaders who are competing for that top
right,
prize.
Chris, the bowler in the number 5 spot, just making it in that final game from Detroit, Michigan, Bob Strampe. Bob will be going from the right-handed side against the man in the number 4 spot, trying to win his way to Firestone the first time on our telecast from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Alex Seymour. The winner of that first encounter will earn the right to move up and bowl against the number 3 finisher, the first of our left-handers that you will see, also trying to win his way to Firestone, Dick Batista from Astoria, New York. The winner of that match will earn the right to move up, bowl the number 2 man, bowling's thin man, the new thin man in bowling from Miami now, Dave Davis. Dave's in his mod clothes today, and against the tournament leader, he'll have to move up and bowl this man, PBA champion Mike McGrath from El Cerrito, California.
So there they are, the finalists of the $75,000 Cougar Open with Mike McGrath in the top position. Of course, he's the man to beat this afternoon. Here at the Coliseum Lanes, once again, here's how the final rounds are set in today's competition. Bob Strampe, Alex Seymour, our 5th and 4th ranked bowlers in the tournament thus far, will meet in the very first game. And the winner of this match head-to-head will attempt to bowl his way past Dick Batista in 3rd place, then Dave Davis in 2nd, and finally meet Mike McGrath for the championship $10,000. And Strampe opens with a booming strike.
Really did, Chris, and
in 12th last year in Waukegan.
Chris, he's a new player, relatively new to the tour, just a little over a year in competition on the PBA Tour.
Against Dick Batista. Another split. 4-7-10.
Chris, we're going to look at it again. Again, the ball came charging through that 1-3 pocket area. Now he has a chance because he has to hook in this manner here, let the ball come by and catch that 4 very lightly, slide it over into the 10. Might do it, Chris. Thought he had it.
So now each professional with 2 open frames. And here we have a lead change again. Batista has taken the lead by 5.
There you see the score sheet. The bowlers would say we've got a lot of donuts on that scorecard. He's going to miss. Got the 2-7 there, Chris. Almost had a real dandy. Here you're going to see gets great loft and doesn't get quite enough fingers. You see the ball rolling, trying to come back, but there it starts sliding. Here he gets a great break in knocking out this 8-pin. It's really a difficult split with that one back there. Now he can hook right in between them.
Very good. Fine conversion. And now Batista.
Chris, that's the first real take-charge ball that Batista has shown, and he really did put a lot on that one.
Batista, like all the professionals, have their ideas of technique in bowling, and here's how he feels about his game.
I've been working on my game for the past 3 weeks on my bending position at the foul line and my reach, mainly to get my ball projected deep into the lane to have it go as straight as possible. And in this particular tournament, it worked out very well for me because we had to have the ball going straight. Other than that, I felt that if I kept clean, I would be out of trouble, and which I did throughout the whole tournament. I kept fairly clean and didn't run into any difficult spares.
Now, that last stroke, he left the 2, 4, and 7.
Speaking about not running into any difficult spares, he has one right now, especially with that big sweeping hook. There you see it, Chris. Gave it a little too much room.
Chopping the 4, 7. So that is another open for Batista. The lead changes again. 6 pins on top. This man, Seymour.
Christmas is coming early for somebody, Chris.
Oh, especially when you look at the rundown of the money here in the top 5. The 4-8. Darndest combinations today, Billy, that we've seen in a long while on our telecast.
All right, Chris. We mentioned earlier the trickiness of that track area, and the bowler's going to be jockeying, trying to keep it in that track with speed. And a lot of times with that push-pull, click-click action, you can get a lot of variable spares and splits to shoot at.
The winner of this game will go against many-time champion Dave Davis. The winner of that head-to-head game will then face the tournament leader, Mike McGrath. $10,000 to the winner today, plus a 1970 Cougar. Second place, $4,000, plus the use for 1 year of a Cougar. $3,500 for third, or rather fourth, and $3,000 for fifth. How could that 8 ever stay there?
Well, Chris, that's one of the real tough breaks in bowling, and here you'll see it in slow motion. Very powerful ball. You see it finishing through there, and there you see the pins contact each other and part. One goes to the left of the 8, one goes to the right of the 8.
That pin must have halitosis.
Well, that's just real fast action when they go through. A powerful ball, plastic pins fly pretty quick.
Spare in the 7th for Alex Seymour. He has a 3-pin lead. We'll be back with the balance of the second match in just a moment. And there's Miss Cougar, Katie Horton, student at Miami-Dade Junior College, princess in the Orange Bowl court, and avid bowler. She, along with you, watching Dick Batista now, trailing by 3.
There you see that mixing strike, Chris. That's when that hook ball is really working and he has it in the right place. That's the kind of strikes that they make with that big wide angle.
Well, there are 2 more left-handers waiting in the wings, Dave Davis and Mike McGrath. Yes, Batista has 3 strikes and 7 frames. Six left on the left lane.
Yeah, that's split city there, Chris. Again, 180 degrees straight across. You've got to hope for this pin to bounce out because it's almost impossible. It can happen if you just go sailing by it enough for the pin to just fall to its complete left and take 1 bounce. The odds against that are 1,000,000 to 1.
All right.
valuable pins lost there, Chris.
Yes.
You see, he loses one pin. And in the match this close, where the lead is seesawing back and forth, would certainly seem to play for one.
17 pin lead by Seymour now in our second game. Strike in the eighth for Seymour. Billy, this building, the Coliseum Lanes, it's a striking comparison to the other establishments that we see from time to time.
Certainly is, Chris. Beautiful. It's been wonderful for hosting the tournament. Spacious seating. Very warm atmosphere has prevailed here all week.
A lot of history here.
Formerly an opera house.
10 pin for Seymour on the left lane.
And he'd like to sing a little bit right now, leaving a solid 8 and now a solid 10 on that left lane. He could be 37 pins in the lead had he carried those two solid hits. But he takes a pretty commanding position should he convert this spare. 17 pins ahead with one frame to shoot, and your opponent not making any, not only strikes, hardly a mark.
128 through the eighth. Spare in the ninth for Seymour, now Batista.
Got to feel pretty lucky when you're shooting in the 160s and have a commanding lead.
Yes. Seven pin.
Chris, would you believe that Dick Batista still has a chance, though? There you see him checking the overhead score screen. Should he convert this spare and somehow make 3 strikes in the 10th frame, he could score 161. Alex Seymour would need a mark then in the 10th. Well, I'll tell you what, that'll play havoc with your nervous system going that close to the gutter. That'd even upset your sensitive appetites a little bit, I'll tell you that.
It's like some of the construction workers, Billy, on the tall buildings being built. So they walk on those iron beams and... Oh.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty scary. I know Dick Batista right now. His insides are pounding a little bit. Chris, we might have a match yet.
Powerful strike on that left lane.
Chris, we never really take favorites here, but I think probably the whole world's pulling for Dick Batista right now, just to make a strike to make it interesting.
Finished fourth in the Wichita tournament, our season's opener. Then had a bout with pneumonia.
Made a great comeback. Strong man, but that pneumonia... Come on. That was his only chance, Chris.
Yes.
When you're in adversity, as he has been, 3 splits and a miss, shooting along in the 150s, you really, all you can do is say, well, I'll get them next time, Chris.
But he's still going to get a check for $3,500.
Right. Well, Alex Seymour, all he needs is 3-4 pins, because he's got to spare up. Barring disaster, let's say that, must stay behind the foul line, keep it out of the gutter, that type of thing, he would be the winner.
Batista shooting a 151.
There's your winner.
Alex Seymour finished fourth in the tournament, opened with a 216 to 194 win over Strampe. And now he has taken the game against Dick Batista. So it means he'll go against very colorful Dave Davis.
He just barely did make that spare, Chris.
There is Dave Davis. You could adjust your color if you have a color set where you're watching the show on Dave's shirt. Magenta.
Beautiful. And the mod white string tie.
Well, it's quite a match. A 164 for Alex Seymour, a 151 for Dick Batista. So Seymour moves up to meet Dave Davis in the third round of the $75,000 Cougar Open. It's live and in color as you watch the Professional Bowlers Tour. Alex Seymour beating Bob Strampe in the first game, then getting the best of Dick Batista. Now goes against smooth-stroking Dave Davis, the PBA's thin man. 12 titles to his credit. He will shoot first, bell bottoms and all.
And Chris, I think Alex Seymour is going to need more than something in the 160s to win this game. Dave had a 300 game earlier in the week here.
Leaving the 610 on the left lane.
Of course, the ball broke through very sharply there. No difficulty with the spare, of course, since the 7 went out.
For Dave Davis, now bowling out of Miami, it's a spare in the first frame. Here's Alex Seymour, who shot a 216 in his first game against Strampe's 194, then a 164 in beating Dick Batista's 151. Four pin on the right lane. Of course, there is a variety of speed on each of the balls as struck by these professionals. And here's what Alex Seymour had to say about his speed.
I throw the ball hard because I'm generally bowling on maybe a little bit different kind of conditions than I bowl on the tour. Most of them are a little bit slower or faster, and just don't have as much oil as we're generally used to bowling here. I turn the ball a whole lot, and that's the reason most of all I have to throw the ball so hard.
Kannapolis, North Carolina's Alex Seymour. Four, 7, 9, 10.
Chris, the story was pretty well told by the oohs and ahs of the crowd. The result, though, was of the ball hooking through there too sharp again. The same problem today. Now he has a chance to hook over here, hit this 4-pin lightly. It's exciting into the 9 and then into the 10. No, way too far to the right. Chris, it would look like he only went for the 2, but his timing was bad to the line, and his shot went way far to the right of his target.
So Seymour has 24 through the second. Now Davis shooting in the second. Spare up in the first. Dave Davis not getting the ball up into the pocket, leaving the 1-3.
Chris, he's one of the smoothest bowlers. Here you see him set himself as he goes into his stance. He's trying to go to a little more speed, and that's the reason he kind of hung up in that ball there, that first shot.
Dave Davis, fierce competitor, but occasionally will break out in one of the broadest grins you've ever seen. Sort of like a nervous release.
Certainly is, Chris. Each player has their own way of sort of relaxing themselves. Somehow you've got to stay busy, and Dave's way is sort of laughing or joking with the gallery. It's an outlet for pent-up emotion. And he pent up the pins pretty good, way up into the rack.
That'll calm you. Billy, when you bowl, what do you do to relax?
Well, Chris, I like to rest easy. You got to take care of your body, get a good night's rest.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you got to work out, keep those legs in shape.
Well, yes. Ten-pin for Seymour.
Chris, that was a very good question. I'd like to pass that on to our young bowlers in junior highs and high schools and colleges around the country. Even though bowling is not a contact sport, don't take it lightly. You must be in shape and keep those legs. They are the important thing. When your legs go, there's no more competition.
And Billy, now that you've been in the announcing ranks for a while, surprisingly, you have to keep in condition to do this.
Well, you certainly do, Chris. It's one of the most tedious jobs, although I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. You've really got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Because the tiniest of all muscles will go in a hurry if you don't.
That's for sure, and I want to thank you for your help over the years. Chris, and speaking of help, that's what Alex was trying to do, help that shot back into the pocket. That loft, you see, we talked earlier about not being able to gauge it. Sometimes you let it off too soon on the downswing. Sometimes you hold on to it too long, trying to guess where you're going to loft that shot. And he's varying his loft and varying his speeds.
Now for the 2-pin. Alex Seymour of Kannapolis, North Carolina has it, yet he trails by 15 against Dave Davis. We'll be back here at the $75,000 Cougar Open in just a moment. On ABC today, the 11th stop on the PBA Tour telecasts. 11th of 13 with New Orleans and the Firestone Tournament of Champions left. Dave Davis finished second in the overall tournament, bowling against Seymour here in the semifinal game. And there's a big double for Davis.
Chris, we spoke earlier about his timing and coordination. Dave is one of the great stylists in the game. Here you see him set himself. This is his relaxed position in his stance, arm fully extended. From this point, he's going to let the ball drop, put it into motion. There you see ball and body move at the same time. Notice how his footwork is perfect, right in style. Now, right there, watch that angle, 180 degrees. You can even extend it here. That's how great and in style and in form the fundamental Dave Davis is.
He's trying for 3 in a row, left the 6-10 on the left lane. The winner of this will go against Southpaw Mike McGrath for the $10,000 first prize, plus a 1970 Cougar.
Chris, Dave, of course, our viewers will remember one earlier this year, the San Jose Open, Saratoga Lanes in San Jose, California.
And the twice bowler of the year is going against Alex Seymour. Best previous finish 12th this year in Wauwatosa. Well, Billy, how do you try to convert this baby?
Well, Chris, it's pretty much on your strike line. He's got to come here and let it slide by and try to hit that 5-pin just lightly, like it would be on the strike line, and slide it right over into the 7. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's just like making the 5-7. That back pin will take out. There it is. There it is. Chris, I tried to draw that line from the extreme left. He shot it out of the left corner to get the slide. And right there, you see that ball sliding to the right. 5 going right into the 7. Beautiful execution.
Professionals at work. Coliseum Lanes, the building that opened in 1927 to opera, to prize fights, to just about everything, including an aviation training center during World War II. Davis never watches his opponent.
There you see him wiping the ball. He's wiping the track area where the ball will roll, going down the lane, getting any dust, any dressing that it may have picked up, or any lacquer if they're dry. Each time he wipes the track.
A 7-pin on the right lane for Davis. The Coliseum Lanes converted to a bowling establishment in 1957 by proprietor Hal Weinberg.
Wonderful man, Chris. We want to thank Mr. Weinberg and his assistant, Mr. Ellis Pender, who've just done a monumental job here this week in making this Cougar Open a success.
And Dave Davis continues to lead here in the next to last head-to-head match.
Here's the 26-pin lead of Dave Davis. You see it. Alex Seymour, he's feeling the heat of battle. There's that full stroke. Crunching strike shot.
Leaving the 6-pin. Billy, we talk about all the money, and it is great for the professionals, the opportunity to earn it. But the various sporting events that we cover often provide great entertainment for the less privileged, like mentally retarded children. There were some 2,500 that were bussed here throughout the week to watch these professionals at work, thanks to the generosity of two Miami sportsmen, Herb Martin and Jerome Friedman. So the professionals do contribute outside their very own field. The action will continue in just a moment as the best bowlers in the world compete for their share of the prize money here at the $75,000 Cougar Open in Coliseum Lanes in Florida. But first, this message. Get an idea of the expanse of the Coliseum Lanes and the crowd here watching Alex Seymour, who's won 2 games, to reach the semifinals against Dave Davis. He trails by 25 pins, shooting in the 7th. That's his very first strike in this game.
All right, Chris, and his first really good shot. He stayed down a little more with the body, got the arm swing through for the full extension, which kept his shot on line. Not only has he been rearing, he's also been turning his body, which is just impossible to keep the shot in your intended line of flight when you do that.
6, 7, 10, Seymour.
Troublesville, Chris. A lot of our viewers might be wondering just why every lane is the same width and the same length, but yet why do one week they score 400 over and the next week here 104 under cash? Bowling lanes are like baseball parks. It's a new one and a different one every week. Oh, we almost made it. Chris, each house conditions the lanes a little bit differently. Some go down 10, 15, 20 feet with the oil. Some go 30, 40, or 50 feet. Therefore, the surface varies in length, not only in width. From board to board, the grain is soft, grain is hard. And here, the surface has been dry in the track and not very much oil.
Booming strike for Davis in the 8th frame, leading by 37 pins. You're watching the top 5 in action. The other 11 in the top 16 included these men.
Right, Chris. In 16th place, local favorite from Hialeah, Florida, Richard Canicotti got 1,100. Jim Godman, of course, the Firestone champion, making it in there from Elkhart, Indiana. Our statistician, Harry Smith. New Orleans, Bill Johnson. Ron Hamlin, another of the left-handers to make it from nearby Delray Beach, Florida.
And then a Floridian, also Billy Allen of Orlando. Ski Furimsky of
our
Houston.
winner at Wichita. George Pappas, who's the leading money winner from Charlotte.
And then came Johnny Gunther in 8th.
Johnny Petraglia, been consistently bowling well on the winter tour.
And the alternate today in 6th position is King, North Carolina's Tommy Tuttle. You see him there just at the right of your screen in that pink shirt next to Miami Herald's Dick Evans.
Chris says he bowls the final 2 frames. He's what we would call out of the wood. He can make 187. Again, we always have to leave room for disaster, such as a foul or something like that. If Dave would foul or hit his ankle and go in the gutter a couple times, why, he could still lose, but highly unlikely.
And a double for Seymour, striking there in the 10th frame.
So we talk about it as long as it's mathematically possible. It is still mathematically possible for Alex Seymour to win, considering misfortune on the part of Dave Davis. Not now, Chris. Should he convert this spare, he would have 176, which now Dave can do anything he wants. He's already got in the 180s.
Now Davis comes up, shooting in the 10th frame, spare working for him in the 9th.
Anything behind the foul line, Chris, in play, naturally. There's your winner.
So in that final game worth $10,000 plus a Cougar automobile, we will have two national champions going head-to-head, Dave Davis and Mike McGrath. 4 to a 176, Dave Davis is the winner, so the story of the $75,000 Cougar Open is almost history. Davis gets set now to meet Mike McGrath. At stake, the championship, $10,000, and the Cougar. We'll be back in a moment. Now, after two victories by Alex Seymour, Dave Davis defeated him in the third head-to-head game, and we go into the finals of the Cougar Open. Mike McGrath, Dave Davis, $10,000 to the winner of this game, $6,000 for second.
And, Chris, it is a rematch of the 40th and final game last night. Davis was the leader. McGrath beat him to be the tournament leader. So this is a replay.
And McGrath starts with a strike.
And you're going to see a different Mike McGrath. He was the tournament leader last year in the Cougar Open, his first time on network television, and he had a miserable afternoon. He's shown great experience gain since that time, the last 2 weeks on television. This is his third week in a row, and he's gained valuable experience, Chris.
That's right. Came in second last week. Davis. And like that, we have an even match through one.
Pretty cool performer here, Chris.
You know, I can think of two people watching this telecast, Billy, who like that type of bowling. Our old friend Junie McMahon up in Patterson, New Jersey, and right here in Miami, the man that got me started in bowling telecasts, Peter DeMette.
Right, and it was a pleasure renewing acquaintances last week in Madison Square Garden with Helen and Junie McMahon, one of the all-time greats, and like Don Carter, in the Hall of Fame.
Right. 6-10 for Dave Davis. Dave Davis. Bowler of the Year in 67 and 68. Won the Firestone Tournament of Champions, a two-time winner of the PBA National Championship, 12 titles to his credit. Striking a spare for Davis, and up steps Mike McGrath. Strike up, shooting in the second. Actually, what they're bowling for is 16 grand and 2 automobiles. Not bad. Didn't quite come up.
Right, Chris.
Leaving the 3-5-6.
Got that ball a little out there with his arm and not so much with his fingers. He didn't have as true a swing that time. Therefore, it didn't get that revolution from left to right back into the 1-2 pocket. It's been very steady, Chris. This young man has cashed 21 consecutive tournaments now. He's really got his game in top shape. But this is like a separate tournament when you're bowling a one-game match, do or die.
Fancy footwork. Delighted with what happened. That's his second strike in 3 frames. Now Davis, to keep it even, must strike. Can he make it level? .610.
Got a great break, too, there, Chris, knocking the 8 out. He was a little slow. That's the slowest shot that he has made thus far this afternoon. And you can't afford that today, Chris. The ball is breaking so sharp in those last 5 or 6 feet.
So 2 pins now separate these 2 champions. Shooting in the 4th frame, carefully, wiping the ball, now drying the left hand.
It's a pretty deliberate performer, Chris. There you see him taking a good bit of time.
Leaving the 5-6 on the left lane.
Chris, he tried to go to more speed that time, and he got a little bit of loft in there and caused the ball to slide for him.
Mm-hmm.
Not a difficult spare. He's got to try to split the 5 and the 6 with the ball, touching ball. No, he's got to come way.
Ooh, chopping the 5 off the 6, and it's an open for Davis in this championship final match. Now he trails by 15. We'll be back with more of the final match between Dave Davis and Mike McGrath here at the Coliseum Lanes in just a moment. Behind Rhea Blondie and Bernie Brown of the Lincoln Mercury division is Sandy McGrath, whose husband now steps to the line. The possibility to double and increase his lead. Couldn't do it. 3, 5, 6. Tournament leader, as he was a year ago at the Cougar Open in Paramus at Frank Esposito's lanes. And this is what he had to say about shooting that 149 a year ago.
The Cougar Open has very fond memories for me and a little bit of disappointment. I was the leader last year in the same position that I am this year, and I pulled a 149. Of course, 1 year's experience and better mental attitude, and my physical game is much better than it was last year, partly due to my wife's help and her understanding of my mental outlook. And I just hope I can do a lot better this year and maybe come out and win this tournament.
Well, now both bowlers have open frames. Leaving the 7 on the left lane, Mike McGrath, a graduate of Chico State.
It was a marketing major, I think, Chris.
Yes. Met Sandy at a bowling center where she worked the night desk.
Chris, on that spare, he got a little too much speed and went sailing down the lane. The ball did not grip for the hook, and he left the 6-pin.
Well, instead of a 15-pin lead, Davis now only trails by 3. He had an open in the 4th, as you remember. He's now stroking in the 5th. Apparently he's stuck at the line, but he still came through with a booming strike.
Slightly, Chris, but he, feeling it, went with a long follow-through, really extended it, emphasized it. Chris, there we often talk about the foul line, must stay behind it. Now, he stuck and, of course, faded to the left, so that was the reason for the extended follow-through. You must stay behind that foul line.
Six-pin, Davis.
Chrissy really wanted that strike. Naturally, that was for the go-ahead and really the take-charge ball and to put the pressure on McGrath. I'm sure from what Mike McGrath had to say over his audio tape, you heard it. There's undue or excessive pressure already on McGrath. Memories of last year will cause that to happen.
And now here's McGrath. Shooting in the 6th frame with a 3-pin lead. Spare working for him in the 5th.
Chris, you see, that same speed control. Got a much better roll that time on that left lane. But his last 2 shots have hit a little soft. That's that light half hit, not getting the carry.
He left the 7-pin.
For this year, Mike finishing 2nd last year has had the use of a Cougar. He is at least guaranteed that this afternoon, as he can finish no worse than 2nd. But they're really striving for that $10,000 and the right to have a new Cougar automobile as long as they want it.
It's their very own if they win here.
So true. Something there we'd like to call to our viewers' attention. Mike, again, we talked about it last week, went to the rosin box late in his match. He has gone to it again, trying to get a little more grip in the shot.
Never watches.
Great recovery for Mike McGrath after that split. I'm sure it started him to thinking, and he's come back with 3 balls in the pocket.
Now Davis on the right lane. Spare up in the 6th. Shooting in the 7th. Six-pin.
Good strokes for Dave right now. He's putting a lot of fingers in there. The old pressure, Dave's great under the pressure and puts a little more fingers on it, and the ball just finished a fraction too strong. Chris, at this point, 3 pins, of course, again, count is the important factor. The percentage really is with McGrath, since he's not hooking the ball as sharply as Dave is from that side of the ledger. From the other side of the ledger, you might think the percentage is with Dave. He's been in this situation so many times. He's a little more seasoned to this pressure than McGrath is.
That pleased Dave Davis. Strike in the 8th frame. Now stepping up with a strike in the 7th and shooting in the 8th is McGrath. Pressure.
Chris, that's right. The truer words were never spoken, Chris. This is probably the most pressure shot that McGrath has had to make in the tournament. This frame. Oh, Chris, he gets a great break. There's, we spoke of the percentage just a moment earlier. By the ball not breaking through as sharply, he got the trip action off the 6-10.
Which gives him a 13-pin lead as a result of the double. Next week, it's the New Orleans Open. And the honorary chairman is, guess who?
Pete Fountain.
Pete Fountain. Now in the 9th frame.
And he's bowled well on this lane, Chris. He can go 23 in the lead. Another trip, Chris.
That's right. 3 in a row for Mike McGrath. 23-pin lead over Davis, who has a strike up. Shooting in the 9th now.
Right, and now the biggest ball of the tournament for Dave Davis. He needs this strike to stay in the match. It would cut it back to 13 and then set him up for the 10th frame. He's got to have it, Chris.
He just walked back and he said, great clutch shot, Dave.
Well, that's right, and that's just what he meant, too. Dave, many times in that situation, one of the great clutch players, and that's why he's just sort of funning himself for as bad as he made it in the clutch.
That was the spare for Davis in the 9th frame.
Chris, if he could make 3 strikes in the 9th frame, there you see him checking the overhead score screen. He can make 194. There are several possibilities. He would force Mike McGrath to mark. We could have a tie match, and Dave Davis could still win.
All right.
There.
That's one of them. And he reaches to the pins at the line.
That's probably more emotion than Dave Davis has shown. He's a little unhappy with that 6-pin all afternoon, and he threw the gauntlet to it. That's the first time he carried it. There's his reaction.
6'3", 145.
Bowling's answer to the 1-iron. Chris, we have a match.
Yes, sir. These two youngsters, but both champions, are bowling for a total of $16,000 in 2 automobiles. Whew.
And they're both reacting out there like cougars to this pressure, too. Chris, this count is very, very important. If he counted bad on this ball, Mike McGrath might not need to mark. He really needed a strike, Chris.
2-7. A 192 for Dave Davis.
Mike McGrath does not need a mark, but he does need a good count on this first ball. If he would count very bad, he could lose the match if he didn't mark.
All right.
There's your winner!
So now he's going to add $10,000 to his money earned this year, which will put him well over $22,000 in second place on the money list behind the leader, George Pappas, who has over 24.
Now, Chris, to our viewers, it hasn't been flashed up yet because he must stay behind the foul line with this ball. And he did it.
All right.
He's been waiting a long time for this moment, Chris.
Last year, as we indicated, and he indicated, the 149 after being the tournament leader in Paramus. And they had the use of a Cougar for a year, but now he's going to have one of his own.
Great under pressure. Valuable experience gained in 1 year. Mike McGrath, the Cougar Open champion, Chris.
A 216 to 192 victory by McGrath, who gets the bus from Sandy, his wife. We'll be back in just a minute to meet the $75,000 Cougar Open champion. Well, here we are. How about a round of applause for Mike McGrath with the Houndstooth Cougar. That's one of the spoils of victory. And look at him smile, a Chico kid. And inside the car, probably, well, maybe not yet with the keys, is Sandy McGrath, his wife. I'm proud to present a man who's vitally interested in sports, and so is the entire Lincoln Mercury division, Dearborn, Michigan. And you're looking at old friend Ray Blondie, merchandising manager of the division, the Ford Motor Company. And Ray, I think you got your money's worth today, did you not?
Chris, it was a great exhibition, and we're just delighted with the showing that Mike put on today. Last year he was the runner-up. This year, and of course, he's been driving his Cougar for the full year. Mm-hmm. Now it's a pleasure to award him a brand new one. But first, of course, we have the trophy, Mike.
Mike, you want to
Why
come
don't I
over
just
here?
set that down? It's a little heavy.
It's a beautiful, beautifully well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I also have right here the keys for this Cougar.
All right, I get the car.
And a check for $10,000.
That goes to my wife.
Mike, in which order, the check or the keys?
Huh?
In which order goes to Sandy, the check or the keys?
The check goes to her first. The keys go to her second. Yeah, I've remembered this tournament for 1 year now. It was last year this time I bowled the tournament, and it wasn't quite as good an inning. But it's just wonderful. And we've been driving the Cougar for a year and had wonderful work with it. 40,000 miles in a year.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, I believe, Mike, you were a marketing major at Chico State?
Yes, I majored in marketing at Chico State and graduated with my BS in 1968.
And of course, here's an expert in that field in the automotive industry.
I think today I'd rather have some of his skills, quite frankly.
You had a whole year, I guess, to think of that 149 in second place.
Yes, it was a long year, and come down a little nicer climate down here, I think. And that's...
Oh, you hit that right on the head. By the way, You indicated that Sandy, your wife, is a tremendous golfer, and the reason I say that, here on ABC tomorrow, we'll be televising the final round of the Greater Jacksonville Open. Does she really hit her drives 250 yards?
Not quite. About 220, though, and I'll put her against any woman on the golf course.
Well, we'd like to congratulate you, and I know Mr. Weinberg here at the Coliseum Lanes and a capacity crowd want to say goodbye to you with another round you richly deserve. Mike McGrath, the champion. Thank you, Ray.